Alon Pereg, welcome to the Travel Coach.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you on board today. If you want, before starting, would you like to introduce yourself so we can get to know you a bit better?
Yes, as you said, my name is Alon Pereg. I am a pilot. Actually, I am a pilot for the last 41 years. I started my flying career as a pilot in the Air Force. I flew F-16s, jet fighter planes. And then about 18 years ago, I joined El Airlines as a pilot. And now I am an active pilot of Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Actually, you catch me between the flights. I'm in Paris right now, and I will fly the flight tomorrow from Paris to Tel Aviv. I'm married to Ifat. She's a therapist. I have 5 daughters. I have 3 granddaughters and 1 grandson.
Oh my God. That's a family.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing in one job that I'm doing, and the other thing that I'm doing is I'm helping people with the fear of flying, and I believe that we will expand on this later on.
Yeah, that's super interesting. It's the first time I hear, a professional airline pilot talking about fear of flying and helping people to overcome this fear, which is more common than we think. So we are going to talk about this. But before that, the Travel Coach podcast is all about stories of transformation. I would like you, if you can share, what's your definition of transformation?
I think transformation, first of all, I never heard about it until approximately 20 years ago when I divorced. And I was after 18 years of marriage, and I was a little bit lost and confused. And I was searching to see what went wrong and how I built my life again. And I understood that finding, let's say, the flag on the top of the hill, or some possibility, some dream is to guide you, is what can drive you to be another person. So at that point, I had to define what is the being that I'm seeking. And at that point, I defined that I'm guided by love. And the transformation for me was to bring love. Later on, a couple of years later, actually more than 10 years later, when I already was an airline pilot, and people came to me and told me that they were afraid of flying, and I found out that I could help them, this was really the materialization of transformation for me. I transformed from, if you wish, driving a plane to driving a change in the lives of people. So that was the transformation, and that is what I'm going to do from now on.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So you you experienced the transformation before in the first person, and now you're helping other people to achieve this transformation, leading the way because you've been there already. And
yes,
I'm very interested to know how it all started, right? How a professional airline pilot one day decides to help people to overcome the fear of flying. What was the moment?
So there was not a special moment initially, because people were coming to me talking about their fear of flying. Initially, I really didn't understand what they wanted from me, because I told them there's nothing to be afraid of. But little by little, I understood, first of all, that it was a very large-scale phobia. And second thing, that it was very real for these people. These people that are afraid of flying suffer deadly fear. It's not like, fear of speaking in public that is very widespread. So people are afraid of speaking in public, but they are not afraid to die from that. People that fear flying feel deadly fear. So I gradually understood that it was a problem. I started to help them. And then I think 5.5 years ago, there was a specific young lady, actually a daughter of a good friend of mine, that suffered, and I helped her, and she flew to Thailand with her boyfriend and returned engaged. So she was very happy. And she called me and she told me, you are not doing it right. You have to do it organized. And it was exactly, if you are looking for a moment, it was exactly when I understood that I knew how to do it. In a matter of 2 months, I assembled together all the course. And from that point, I think it was 2017, I started to run regular courses in Israel every month, hundreds of people going through these courses with a huge success rate. So the point was, if you wish, that young lady that called me and said, hey, that's your mission in a way.
Yeah, that was the sign that you needed to jump on this.
Exactly. Yes.
In this vocation you have now. Amazing. So you said this is a phobia that is more extended that we think. What's the percentage? Do you have some numbers so we can understand how big is it?
I have numbers and they are shocking, actually. The common knowledge in the industry about fear of flying, that we're talking about approximately 1/3 of the population. 1/3 of the population has a problem with flying, but some of them just feel uncomfortable, afraid, but they're flying. Some of them fly with great anxiety, and some of them just are not flying. So if you are looking, for example, at the website of Virgin Australia, they say that more than 10% of the actual people that are flying suffer the fear of flying. So this is one number, and approximately 10% of the population are avoiding flying altogether due to fear of flying. Now, avoiding flying means that if the father of the family is avoiding flying, then all the family does not go on a vacation flying. They have to go by car or by train or whatever. Fear of flying also prevents you from job opportunities. And that's another thing. So fear of flying is really a distracting thing. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, because of course, if you're not going to fly, it's not impacting your life. But nowadays, with the world being more communicated than ever, we need, it's impacting, as you said, not only the person, but all the family is impacted by this fear. Do you think, from your experience, that there is some characteristics of people who tend to have this fear? I mean, it's more like male, female, some age, it's something about, or is quite general?
I would say, first of all, women are more likely to admit that they're afraid. As much as I can see, male and females suffer the same from this. It is mostly common between the ages of 25 and 55. With children, it is a little bit less common, and it's most of the time easier to overcome. And I don't have a lot of experience with really people over 60 years old. But it's not like you can characterize these people that are regularly afraid of things, because it can come sometimes from a bad experience in flying, or it can come from a overdose of consuming bad media, looking at disaster reports or films. So this is not something that you can say this person is more likely to have fear of flying. Of course, that people that are that have phobias and have panic attacks from all the time, then they can have also fear of flying. But most of the people that suffer fear of flying are not sick. There is nothing wrong with their minds in a way.
No, I know what you mean. And that's amazing. So it is something, so if the person is super afraid to fly and is just avoiding flying at all costs, we talk what the impact, right? So they're going to miss job opportunities, they're going to miss vacations, all the family impacts. But what about the ones that, even if they're afraid, they go and they stay in the plane? What are the symptoms that they can suffer, so we can have an idea of you know, this suffer of this fear?
Yes, most of the time it starts days or weeks before the flight. They have problems in sleeping. They are thinking about the flight, and as it gets nearer, they are more stressful. They are less communicative. They are afraid. Sometimes they turn back. They cancel the flight. By the way, many of them just cancel the flight even at the last minute. During the flight, you can see them holding the grip, you know, the handles of the seat, not moving, crying, you know, in a way startled, you know, they are not frozen or avoiding eating, drinking, not going to the toilets, just sitting, holding tight, not asleep, of course, not. That's there are many ways to express fear, but these are the common ways you can see them.
Yeah, that's huge. So you said that this can come from, you know, media or some traumatic experience in the past. Do you think it's also lack of knowledge? Because you, as a pilot, you know, right, how safe it is, and you know, you don't need to be afraid of. But do you think also the lack of knowledge impacts this fear?
Yes. First of all, you touched a very important point. This fear is a false alarm, because fear by itself is a very healthy mechanism. We fear dangerous things, which in turn make us being cautious and not getting hurt or killed. But this fear is wrong, because these people are afraid of flying, which is the safest thing that can happen to you. Now, and it doesn't really stem from lack of knowledge, but it is greatly amplified from lack of knowledge. For example, the plane is flying through turbulence, or what we call air pockets. Now, people are think that, okay, the plane falls hundreds of meters or kilometers or whatever, and what is going to happen? And the fact is that the plane does not really fall. These are our minds that deceive us for the lack of view, outside view, that create this illusion. We're not really falling. The aircraft is really shaking a little bit, but this is some kind of knowledge that is missing. For example, another knowledge is that 1 minute after takeoff, after the aircraft gets airborne, you can hear the noise of the engines reduces most of the time. Now, many people are thinking, okay, we lost the engines now, we are going to die, which is the opposite. We are taking off with 2 engines when we only need 1. Did you know that, Sonia? We don't need the 2 engines. 1 is redundant. Now, after we are airborne and the 2 engines are running, we don't need that extra power, because we took off with twice the power that we needed. So in order to avoid noise, we have to decrease the intensity of the engines. So as a matter of fact, if you hear and feel that the engines a minute or between half a minute to a minute after takeoff, they are reduced, it means that everything is okay. So knowledge can calm you down, and lack of knowledge can increase the anxiety.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if people, you know, who is more used to travel, used to flight, maybe get these things by habituation, but definitely is some lack of knowledge that it's good to, it will help, you know, to palliate these symptoms. Yeah. Is there any other tip that you can give us on top of inform yourself that will help to, you know, manage this anxiety before, during, or after traveling?
Yes, so maybe it's a good time to tell you that I have developed a mobile application that has a full course in it. You can download it, and what we are going to do is in the text below the podcast, we will post a coupon code so you can use the app for free for 2 months and learn all about it.
Oh.
Now, there is an exercise in that, actually multiple exercises there on top of the knowledge, but one of them is very important, and I would like to dedicate 1 minute to it. The problem that we have when we are afraid is that we normally have 3 mechanisms in our minds. So one mechanism is triggering the fear. For example, we see a tiger. So we see this tiger not far away from us, and our mind says, okay, a tiger is a predator, I am a prey, so this is very dangerous, and we push the alarm button. But there is another mechanism that said, which is called the knowledge, that says, hey, wait a minute, I see bars, and actually the tiger is inside the cage, and a tiger inside the cage is not dangerous. So that's the second thing. It says, hold on, wait a minute. And there comes the third mechanism, the memory, that says, hey, we have been in a zoo. We already saw predators inside cages, and these are not dangerous. And what and my tip to you is to duplicate this exercise while you are on the plane and you are afraid. Use the knowledge that you can get from the app. For example, you are afraid from the turbulence. Okay, that's okay. Now remember, the turbulence are not dangerous because you learn about it. Remember that your minds are deceiving yourself. I give you there a very simple exercise with a glass of water to evaluate the intensity of the turbulence. So manually retrieve the knowledge and create good experience, and in the next flight you will have even, or not only the knowledge, you will have also the memory. And then once you exercise it again and again, calling for the knowledge and calling for the memory, eventually your mind will learn how to use it. So that's maybe a little bit complicated tip, but this is really a killer. It will kill eventually. It will help you overcome the fear.
Well, that's great, Alon, that you put all this information and experience together in an app, and so generous of you to give us this coupon for free to try it on. So yeah, absolutely.
Remember, this is my transformation.
Yeah.
I am transformed to bring people something new, to give them the ability to fly.
Yeah,
this is my way to be transformed by giving it.
Yeah, definitely. And you feel fulfilled by doing that, by helping people to overcome this fear. I can see that. So what's the name of the app, first of all? So if somebody wants to search it.
It's called Simply Fly, but simply with I at the end, Simply Fly.
Perfect.
And if you are looking for Simply Fly app without gaps, and .com, you will find our website. And again, we will post, if you allow, a link to direct download it from the stores, so people can download it and start conquering the fear immediately. Simply Fly. That's
definitely. Thank you. So it's for Android and iPhone, for both?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, it is. And it's constantly developing. We just recently got a permission to upload an audiobook into it. So we are adding information. We are now working on hypnotherapy exercises. So it will have more and more things to help these people overcome.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's constantly updating and upgrading. So what people can find in the app is on top of this video. So it's your knowledge, videos, some tips, maybe also some emotional tools to release the emotion. What they can expect.
Media types are, first of all, videos. This is a full course of fear of flying, identical to the one that I've been doing very good. There are audio clips that give you focused knowledge again, but also, as you said, exercises, emotional exercises, and audiobook, as I said. And we have a very cool feature which doesn't exist anywhere. This is called Chat with a Pilot. If you have internet connection and you press a button, one of the pilots in the world will answer you and do with you a chat session, giving you information, giving you some advice, calming you down. We have a network of pilots all over the world, and we're growing it day by day. So Chat with the Pilot is the next thing. And as I said, we are also developing it. We will have more information, we will do some more cool things later on.
Yeah, that's so cool indeed. I never heard something like that. That's amazing. And do you think, from your experience, that so the person who will do this course and use the app is gonna remove this fear forever, or they will need to check this app every time they fly? How do you think this will how do you expect this to happen?
First of all, every person is different, and there are people that are more tending to be afraid or have anxiety. So this is different. A second thing is, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not curing people. And some people will be able to fly without it. Some may want to keep it, like something that you return to and get refreshed. What I know right now is our success rate of people reporting is nearing 90% of success. So there are people that it will not help them, but they are really a small minority. Most of the people get report that it really helps them. Yeah. But it's not removing. It's not like, you take a pill and it vanishes. Yes, some kind of fear can stay, but the target is not to let this false alarm impact the quality of life. That's what we want.
Yeah, so
people to be able to fly. Yes, to reduce it.
Yeah,
that's the target.
And depends on the severity, of the symptoms and the intensity of the fear. It can work better for some people and others. Yeah,
and I think that over time it gets better. If you fly and have good experience, then your next flight you will come more enforced, and you have more memories to retrieve in the process of responding to the fear.
Yeah, that's true. You will train, that
it's
safe and nothing happens. Amazing. Very good, Alon. So that was an interesting chat we had here, and we are arriving to the end of the interview. But before letting you go, you know that I'm collecting hidden gems from all around the world, and I would like if you can share with us what is this place from the place you are from that you would like to share that is a must to visit.
But you promise not to tell anybody. Yes, it's only you and me. Okay. Listen. In Israel, you have a unique environment in which, in the span of, let's say, 500 kilometers, you can see on the same day snow and going to take a bath, to take a swim in the Red Sea. So we have all the climates in one place. But I will give you one hidden gem that is in the south of Israel. It is a river. It's not really a river because it's dry most of the time. It's called Zin, Z-I-N, Z-I-N, that's the name. And it is an amazing river that starts with a waterfall that normally tourists know about because they are stopping there. But if you are going down this river and going from this fall, from the waterfall, approximately 4 kilometers, you get to other falls that nobody really knows. So look for the river, or what we call in Hebrew, Nachal, Sin, and ask about the very famous waterfall, but continue approximately 3 to 5 kilometers down the stream, and you will see amazing places. But don't tell anybody, because it is a hidden gem. It's between us.
That sounds like very precious information. Thank you very much, Alon, for sharing this
Yes.
with us. Last
My
but not
pleasure.
least, if somebody wants to contact you, what could be the best place to do so?
Okay, so you can look for my name in Facebook. I'm a little bit old guy, so Facebook is my world. Alon Pereg, A-L-O-N, and the last name is Pereg. This is my personal Facebook, and I'm always answering people that have questions. Sometimes it can take time because I'm flying a lot of my time, but that's the best way to find me. Also, from the app, from inside the application, you can send an email or WhatsApp message, and we are always answering these. So, or via Facebook, or throughout the app, the Simplify app.
Beautiful, Alon. Thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you on board today.
Thank you. It is a part of me bringing that transformation into life, and thank you for helping me in this.
Thank you, and everybody tuning in. Happy and safe travels. Bye, Alon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.